Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today what I want to talk about is children's whole life, getting a policy for your kids. I think it's a great idea, and we're going to talk about the top 4 reasons why I think it's a great idea to go ahead and get that policy for your kids. But it's also important to understand that I want to say this up front is you got to take care of yourself first, right? Because who do your kids depend on? It's you, right? And so if you watched my other video that talked about the top 3 assets that you can invest in, obviously you were number one, and same thing with your kids, right? The best thing that you can give your kids is yourself. But then, as far as leaving an inheritance or money behind, assets behind, might not, I know the house was number 2, right? But it might not be the most practical thing to leave houses for all your kids. So asset number 3 was whole life insurance, right? And so this is something that is very practical, something that you can do for your kids, for your grandkids. It is a gift of a lifetime, right? And not only a gift of a lifetime, but a gift that's going to actually last them a lifetime. And they're going to be able to utilize it through different stages of their life in different capacities. And so reason number 1 why you should get your kids a whole life policy is number 1, to just build a foundation, right? We talk about that all the time with the cash value life insurance, particularly the whole life. You can build a foundation with safety and guarantees in place that and liquidity, right? Liquidity and control. And so your kids can have access to this money as they grow during different stages in their life. But it's important to build a foundation, right? And not just a foundation, not just a policy, but financial principles. So as you fund this policy, as the money grows, they're going to be able to use it, in life. When they grow up, they're going to have a foundation where they're going to have an emergency fund. They're going to have safe money in place, and quite frankly, that's going to put them ahead of most of their peers, right? 64% of Americans do not have access to $2,000 where they have control and liquidity. They can access that money very easily, right? So just think about what a strategic advantage that's going to be for your kids to have that in place. When you think about emergency funds, people say 6 months makes a good emergency fund. And, if you took $100,000 of income, well, 6 months is $50,000, right? So that's something that's going to take them a little while to build up, especially if they, go to college, they have debts they got to pay off. And so you can put them, number 1, way ahead of the game with a whole life insurance policy by building this up for them. And like I said, financial principles, right? You're going to be able to teach them how to save money, how to have the right structure in their financial picture. You're going to be able to educate them how to take control of the financing function in their life through policy loans, if you choose to do that. And so it's just going to be a great place to start for kids, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is college planning. So a lot of people use 529s for college planning, but there's a couple issues with that, right? Number 1, you're in the market, so there's a lot of volatility. It's just like saving for retirement, right? You wouldn't want to be in the market, in a high risk or in a certain fund, maybe like a mutual fund, and the market drops 40% right before you retire. And same thing with college, right? You're saving all this money for college, and the last thing you want is right before your kid's about to go to college, or even during college, all of a sudden the market just drops and you lose a good chunk of money. So you can, number 1, accumulate this money a little bit safer through the whole life policy. But then number 2, your 529, you do have to disclose that you have this money if you're looking for financial aid, different scholarships, programs. And so it's part of what is your expected family's contribution to your kids' education, right? And so if you utilize a life insurance policy in the cash value, what's great is you do not have to disclose that you have this money. In fact, this is the reason I use a policy for my daughter. We put the money in there if she goes to college, she doesn't have to necessarily she doesn't have to disclose or we don't have to disclose that we have this money for her, right? So she can still qualify. So it's just as important as saving for college. You want to find ways that you can save on college as well, right? And so that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to position ourselves, not just save for college, but to save on college. The beautiful thing is, let's say she doesn't go to college. I know some people, they don't think college is worth it. I happen to be one that I'm not pressuring her to go to college, right? If she wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, like she's got to go to college, right? And she's got to get that education. But she might want to do something else completely different with her life, right? That doesn't require a college education, and it might require a different kind of education. And so what's nice is with this plan, unlike the 529 that has to be used for college, right? Or you lose those benefits, this money could be used to put a down payment on a house, to look at maybe an investment opportunity, to buy a business, to invest in a business, which is actually number 3, right? So point number 3 is it's an opportunity fund. It's a real estate fund. It's an opportunity for you as a parent to have control, make sure that your kids are saving money. But this is something that you could even do together, right? Teach your kids how to actually go out and find opportunity. And then that way, if they have a great opportunity, they can even bring it to you, and you guys can basically be on the same page here. You can help guide your kids through different investment opportunities. That way you also know that, hey, they're not just throwing this money away, right? You can be involved. And of course, you can hand the keys over to the policy at any time. But if you want to hold on, you want a little bit more control, you can hold on to that money. And you can say, hey, let's do this together, right? And you can continue to teach, right? And that's, like I said, part of the best thing you can give your kids is yourself, right? Your own education. You can teach them the financial principles to help them get ahead in life. You can teach them how to look for investments opportunity, and they're going to basically be light years ahead of their peers, right? Because how many kids in their 20s have a fund like this? They've have money saved up and they can go make these kind of investments, or find these opportunities, right? Most people are struggling. They're right out the gate. They might be in a lot of debt, especially if they went to college, might have student loans, different things going on. So put your kids ahead of the game. All right, and number 4, guaranteed insurability, right? One thing about life insurance is it's not guaranteed that you're going to qualify tomorrow, right? There's things that happen, there's illnesses, there's accidents that happen, and you may not be insurable tomorrow, right? The time to get your life insurance is today, and that's actually no different for kids, right? The other thing is you're going to be able to get your kids' whole life insurance at a rate today that in the future they're never going to qualify for again, right? Because it's every year your insurance, it gets more expensive, right? You get less coverage for what you pay for, because it's all based on your age, your health. And so one thing I love about like my policy for my daughter is I have guaranteed insurability, right? We have a policy in place. It's going to be with her the rest of her life for building cash value. But we also have what's called guaranteed insurability options, right? And so once she turns 26, every 3 years, we're going to have the option to exercise the ability to open up a new policy when we have 8 options available to us, up to $125,000. So that's into her 40s. That's $1 million more that we can insure her for on a guaranteed basis. Now, she might qualify for better rates, and if she does in the future, great. But what's nice is for less than $1 a month, we can say, okay, even if something does happen, we can guarantee the ability to take out an additional $1 million of life insurance, if we choose, right? Just having that option is so important. And what's crazy is you can do this for, $100 a month, right? You can do it for even maybe a little bit less, depending on, what carrier you get, what the rate is, how old your kids are. But it's not a lot of money, right? It doesn't require a large amount of premium, right? Now, to fund these policies in certain ways, obviously that might take a little bit more premium, right? We may need to this is where I can help you potentially, structure a policy or say, hey, we want to do this or we want to do that. And we can definitely fit it to your needs, right? There's some flexibility with these policies. But the great thing is the insurability is guaranteed, right? Up to an additional $1 million in the future. So when she's older, like for me, for my daughter, when she's older, she has a job, maybe she has different responsibilities. She's going to be able to, even if something happens, she gets diagnosed with something, she's still going to be able to pull out new and more and new life insurance policies on herself. So there you have it. There's the top 4 reasons why you want to go ahead and get your children whole life insurance today. It's absolutely the gift of a lifetime, right? Like I said, something that's going to be with them the rest of their life. And I think my favorite part is it's not just something that you can do for them. It's something that you can do with them, right? As far as not only getting the policy, but then implementing financial principles, right? Teaching them, finding these investments with them. And like I said, it's just going to put your kids light years ahead. And then not only that, but like I said, to guarantee that insurability in the future and have a place to store your money and create, that intergenerational wealth is just, wow, what a gift, right? And now what I will say is if your budget isn't quite where you need it to be, where you want it to be in order to get a policy, I always say, hey, take care of yourself first, right? Get your own insurance first. It's kind of like in the airplane, right? What do they tell you? If you need oxygen, the mask fall down, they say, make sure that you breathe first and then give to your kids. Because, if you're not breathing and you're not capable of, executing, it's not going to help your kids, if you pass out, right? So in the same way, if you're not alive to fund that policy, if you're not, you need to have something in place for yourself too. You want to have, make sure that your kids are going to be okay. So, plus the insurance carriers are going to want you to have life insurance before they give you any life insurance on your kids, right? So there you have it. If you have any questions, if you want to look at options, like I said, this can be extremely affordable. You don't have to, break the bank to make this happen for your kids. Like I said, it could be under $100, and you could lock in insurability of over $1 million for your kids, which is pretty incredible. If you have any questions, you want to reach out, I'll put my links down here below in the comments or the description. Just reach out, book a time with me, right? We can go over different options, different strategies, what this could look like for you. Don't hesitate to reach out.